Howdy, y'all. I just got back from watching Iron Lung tonight, and overall, it was a pretty decent movie. Um, Obviously, it's not a massive multi-million dollar budget like a ton of these big productions are, but for it being a simple production by a YouTuber and a small group of people, I think they did a really good job of getting a story through. Obviously, I won't give any spoilers, but the effects were well done. I think the overall idea behind it is great. I haven't seen much even in indie films kind of like that where they take such a unique perspective of a character and his situation and force him through some of the worst things to overall succeed. Well, succeed is a maybe not the right word. He did succeed in what he wanted to do, but I wouldn't consider it succeeding myself. However, as I said, no spoilers. I won't tell you what happens. I won't tell you how it ends. I won't tell you what goes on. Who cares? I hope you enjoy it. It was a good movie. What I'm really here to talk to you about today is that the elderly have betrayed us. I know, I know. Kind of a wild statement, right? That our forefathers have forsaken us completely and entirely, thrown away generations of us for nothing but serfdom and slavery. They hold power above us to such a drastic extent that the medium home purchaser is 63, that most power and money is consolidated above the age bracket of 65, that even their own children were not spared. The first generation betrayed was the millennials, forsaken by their forefathers and cast out. They were not able to produce and build the lives they needed to succeed in the nation that their forefathers raised them in. And instead, they were abandoned. And because of their abandonment, they weren't able to properly raise us. For a long time, I've been a member of Gen Z. In fact, my entire life. And the longer I live, the more I see the elderly siphon away our future, what little we could possibly ascertain, and give it away to corporations, to foreigners, to people from faraway lands that could never care about our future, that could never care if we were to live or succeed or fail and die after. We had Gen X before the millennials, but they were the silent generation. They did not stand for us. They did not help us. They simply sat back and watched as everything kept getting worse. And the longer they sat, the more apathetic the country has grown. Gen Z has been betrayed completely and entirely by their forefathers. So many of us are on antidepressants. So many of us are suicidal. So many of us don't have homes, don't have jobs. The homeless rate for Gen Z is only rising, and the job market gets worse every day. How are you ever going to rise up when you have to compete with literal slaves, literal serf slave labor? There's no way you could compete with them. There's no way. The only people that ever benefited from it were the corporations and the elderly. They have the money and power invested already. Why would they care about the nation after they're gone? They don't have an incentive to vote to keep us going. They just have an incentive to retain power and money for what little time they have left. The longer I live, the more I see them forsake us, the more I see them throw us away en masse. They discount our entire generation, our beliefs, our future, our hopes. And for what? Money? Who cares about money? You know, when I was growing up, I wanted nothing more than to see everybody around me succeed, to see them grow up and be happy, to see them ascertain jobs of decent value that could help them provide for their families, help them provide for themselves, help them build up their own legacy to fight for their own future. but it's just getting sucked away more and more. Every day I see our jobs sold out to foreigners and H-1B visas, to serfs who could be thrown away at a whim by these companies. You don't want to come into work because you're sick? Your H-1B is revoked. Go back to your country. They don't care. They just want cheaper, more less efficient workers who won't fight back, who don't need benefits, who can't get any of the bonuses that we can as members of the society. I mean, who benefits more than the elderly from a weak, impoverished, and apathetic young people? Who else could have sold us all out entirely? None of us have the power they do. None of us have the influence they do. None of us have the reach, the fame, the anything, because it's all been stripped away. So few of us are successful. So few of us have hope for the future, and it goes down every day. You know, for my whole life, I lived in a liberal state, mostly. In the summers, I would go down to a more conservative area, and that's truthfully why I think I am the way today. Because for the longest time, I thought that the liberals knew what they were doing, that the liberals truly believed in us. And just as the conservatives, neither of them care. Neither of them care. They continue to vote for endless wars, for poverty pushed upon the young. Very rarely do I ever see anybody come out and talk about improving our
I
lives,
smell
improving the
bullshit.
nation, fixing the problems that we face every day. And I know why the elderly don't come out. They don't have any incentive to. They're not going to live long enough to see what their actions and what they vote for will change. Within the next 10 to 20 years, they'll all be gone. The mortality shelf will have been pushed over and they won't be around anymore. I I don't understand why the elderly are allowed to vote. They have no incentive to ever make the country better. Their only incentive is to hold on to what little they have for the precious time still remaining. You think the elderly care about Gen Z? You think they care about Gen Alpha? Most kids in 8th grade can't even fucking read properly nowadays. You think they truly care? No. They completely and totally benefit from a weak and impoverished youth. And soon we'll just be just like South Korea. Young people enslaved by the elderly, enslaved by the oligarchy within their nation, forever held, a fucking shitty trap, forever held back by their forefathers to never amount to anything. And it's all by design. I, for so many years, I've seen my state get worse and worse and worse. And truly, I think I'm the only liberal left remaining. Everybody else around me has become this weird, blatant communist. They don't care about us. They bring in serf labor to usurp us, and they both sold us out for the cheapest bid, the lowest cost. Every time. They took apprenticeships away. They took trade school options out of schools away. They force you to regurgitate useless garbage on the paper every day, and and most of the time it's stuff you'll never learn because you don't care about it. You only retain it long enough to spew it out on some worthless test, and then it's gone. There's no life skills. They don't teach you how to weld. They don't teach you how to do taxes anymore. How my school didn't even teach sex ed anymore. And you want me to believe they didn't want us to fail? You want me to believe they didn't betray us? Just, man, it's such a shame. It's such a shame and they won. You want to know why they won? Because they divided us. They broke us completely and entirely on political lines, on racial lines, on the even just the gender divide. They completely broke our generations. And I don't understand why. Why sell out your own flesh and blood for nothing but useless trinkets and baubles? Why sell us out when we, above all people, would have loved to be succeed right alongside you? Would have loved to learn useful life skills, would have loved to have been given a future that we could not maybe rely on, but foresee as being more than just slavery. And I truly mean that. I truly believe that in this great nation, our generation will end up as nothing as slaves till the last man. They'll throw us out in World War III and we'll lose most of our numbers. We'll never be able to vote our way out of this pain they pushed upon us again. And the people whose futures are on the line, the people whose stakes matter the most in this story because they still have a story to write. If you're 70, your story's written and done. Your life will most likely get no better or worse than it is now until the day you die. Your failures and your success are written in the story of history. So why can't we flip the page? Why can't we let those suffering beneath you finally have a chance to fix what's been broken? I see so many people my age, and thankfully I didn't fall into most of this. Like I never fell into gambling. I never fell into extreme drug usage. I never fell into addiction or poverty or anything. But everyone around me is slowly but surely. So many of them are on such vast amounts of drugs that so many of them have been completely altered to the point that I don't even think they're there anymore. They've been burnt out, abused, and abandoned. When I was younger, they tried to force me to take ADHD medication, to force complete brain altering drugs upon me at the age of 8. And you know what that would have done? It would have just created a broken dependency, a husk of a person. And even now, sometimes I'm worried that they still want to push that on us. How many of us are on antidepressants or on random medications we don't truly need? Are so zonked out and burnt out that we're not even human anymore. We're not even there. I, I get that we've become such an apathetic generation, that so many of us have given up on hope, but I'm just unwilling to do that. I don't want to be a slave. I don't want to give up on hope for our country. I want to see everybody succeed. I don't care if you're black, Asian, or a Muslim, white, Mexican, who cares? You're an American. I want to see you succeed. But then they sell us out for these worthless illegals. You know, when an illegal, oh, fuck, I gotta get rid of the, hold on. I gotta get rid of my artifacts, but when a fucking illegal goes to the ER and they never have to pay back their actual medical bills, because guess what? They're an illegal. How are you going to bill them? They shouldn't even be in the country. They don't have any sort of
This is
citizenship.
Dr. Kaimanov. Have you managed to get the
It
cartridge?
falls on the
Yes,
taxpayer,
I'm
us.
almost there.
Before you
And you know
begin,
what? Who doesn't
you'll need
care
to
about that?
calibrate the
The
central
elderly.
antenna. It's
They
nothing
have
too
all the money.
complex,
They don't
but
work
you'll need
anymore. They
precise
siphon money off just like
instructions.
the
I
worthless
used to
loaches
work at
sucking
this station,
EBT and food
and
stamps
my
out of our
old
country
notes
every
might still
day.
be around. All the information
They
you need will be in there.
All right,
just
where do I
I
find them?
can't imagine
They should be in one of the
why we're sitting
offices.
here still.
If it's locked,
Why so many
try
of
the
us have
code
given up.
1995.
Do they think
Hopefully I remembered
destroying
it
all of our
correctly.
futures
I'll be in
will
touch.
gain them any favor in our eyes? I've never believed in God or anything like that. But man, I think this just proves the longer it goes on, he truly doesn't exist. Why would he allow us to suffer endlessly at the hands of those who supposedly love us? At the hands of those who are supposed to take care of us? Who are supposed to make the world a better place in our names, for our future, for our sake and their own? What have we seen time and time again? They just make it worse. They vote for sanctuary city laws that completely and totally benefit criminals above all else. Laws that completely cover a criminal underclass to keep us in fear, to keep us from standing up against what is right and what is wrong. Maybe at the end of the day, my point here is I wish the elderly weren't allowed to vote because they have no incentive to ever make anything better. And I wish it wasn't that way. I wish they truly did care for our future. They believed in our nation. They believed in the youth. And they fought for our success and prosperity. But time and time again, we've just been sold out. And I'm tired of being sold out. Why can't we just stand up for once? Well, it doesn't matter if you're liberal or conservative. They don't care about you either way. 1995. They don't give a shit. I I don't know. I just wish so much of us haven't succumbed to apathy. That so much of us have given up on the future. They've just accepted that the way it is the way it is, and things will never get better. I'm not. I don't consider myself a liberal anymore,
In the
but I'm
event of my
surrounded by
absence,
liberals
follow these
on all
instructions.
sides,
Reminder,
and they're
the
no
antenna
more
is
happy
a
than the
powerful
conservatives.
conductor.
They're no
Being in
more
its immediate
grateful for the way
vicinity
our country
while
has
it is in
gone,
operation
for the pain
is
inflicted
strictly
upon them.
prohibited.
That's why they
Activate
fight
the
for
antenna
socialism,
on the
because they
rooftop.
want a better future for
Ensure that there is
themselves.
no biological activity
You know, the
nearby.
Liberal Party has
Any
become this weird
interference could
communist.
damage the antenna.
That's
If the
I don't
equipment
know. They become this
detects
far
such
left
activity,
facsimile of what they
the
used to
fuses
be.
will blow, cutting
But
off
I
the
haven't
power supply.
changed.
Stand
My
by.
liberal policies from
The settings are
2000s are the
configured
same
to
I hold
activate
today.
the antenna
That
automatically.
crime and
If the
order should be
aforementioned
crime should be
conditions are
stamped
met,
out. That criminals should
no
live in
manual
complete and
input
utter
required.
fear of the law abiding. That our nation shouldn't live in fear of countless people who the recidivism rate for criminals is just so sky high. And just putting them back out on the street doesn't help anybody, especially not your daughters, especially not your wives, your mothers. I know they sold us all out as a generation, so why would they even care about their own daughters or own mothers or own wives? Right? They prove it every day. They bring more illegals in that harm us. They push for more bullshit, worthless laws like sanctuary cities. How does a sanctuary city law in any way benefit you as an American citizen? Please tell me. Please. It doesn't. And then the illegals they bring in, they take housing, they take jobs, they take the few opportunities we have left as citizens to actually gain a future, to build our story, to write what is going to go forward. And I don't know, maybe I'm just rambling, but the longer I live, the more I realize the elderly have completely betrayed us. I just don't understand why. You know, I don't have to worry about that anymore because, or I don't have to worry about my kids' future anymore because all my kids, they're dead. I have to worry about my own future and the few future of your kids, the few people left in our generation that actually have things worth fighting for. That's why I just don't understand why they've sold us out. I don't know. feel every day, I feel more oh, Jesus. Fucking, there's a bird down here. I feel more betrayed, abandoned by our leaders on both sides, sold out for the lowest bidder. And for what? Just so we can work another day? Just so we can wake up and go to a shitty job that barely provides for us? That'll never give us the hope of ever having a family? To never be able to actually succeed in a way we had all dreamed of? I don't know, man. I don't know. It just sucks. And I truly want to see us succeed as a nation. Because not only is it the only nation that most of us have, but it's our birthright. It's our land, fought over by our forefathers and protected so that we may prosper and succeed. So, what happened? How did one generation, throw us all away? I, I don't know. I look at everyone around me in my college classes, and they're all burnt out. They all cry when they take their test. They're all so stressed because they're working two jobs while going to college just to get by. For what? For what future? Just, I don't know. Maybe you in the comments feel this way too, but I truly think the elderly have betrayed us. And I wish we could fix it. They outnumber us so greatly. They killed off an entire third of our generation. A whole third of our generation was aborted, thrown away like a worthless byproduct in the trash. And you think you want us to think they care about us? No, not at all. Not even for a moment. I don't know. I don't know. Let me know what you feel in the comments. Let me know how you think. Do you think the elderly have betrayed us, forsaken us, and thrown us away? Because I have. They have completely and totally forsaken us. Anyways, I hope you all have a wonderful night. Go see Iron Lung. It's a good movie. I really liked it. And I'll talk to you another day.